next one that we have to look across is the rotational dynamics. This is what we were waiting for so long. We will take it up now. Right. Well, when a body is describing circles, then we say that rotation is taking place. And we will have to look into the different parameters that will get involved when we are talking about rotation. When a body is moving in a straight line, we will measure the length and also tell everybody that it is the displacement. So like that now, for rotational motion, we don't measure the length that is covered by any body during the rotation. Rotation means making circles. For a circle we have got 360 degree of rotation. So here angle is covered. So if you find out how much angle is covered, that only is called the displacement here. You can add one more word if you want. The displacement here by covering angles is called the angular displacement. So starting from any point up to the center of the circle, whatever be the angle covered to some other point, say A to B. Let us say that the angle covered between A and B from A to B is alpha. Then alpha will be the angular displacement for the motion from A to B. So here the angular displacement. When we work out problems, it is only all about these details, angular displacement, velocity and so on, that we are going to study. So I am writing down here just for formality's sake, and that's why no details now. So displacement alpha. Now, what we have studied there for linear motion, that is when the motion is in a straight line, the rate of change in displacement is called the velocity. So like that, the rate of angular displacement is called angular velocity. The symbol for angular velocity is like this, omega, known as omega. So the angular, now in the case of angular motion, we don't say velocity. Velocity has got a direction. But for angular motion, you can see every moment the direction is changing. As the direction changes, then there is no fixed direction. So the word velocity should not be used here. Therefore, we just say angular speed. Angular speed. But note this point, speed means don't think that it is just some speed. No, it is a vector here. Why it is a vector? All that we are going to see. There, linear velocity was a vector, here angular velocity, no, angular speed only is the vector. First we will find out what is it. The angular speed, omega, is equal to rate of change of displacement. So it will be d alpha by dt, which is the rate of change. If you want, you can also write it for clarity purposes, for recollecting the actuals at a later on stage. So it is rate of change in alpha or angular displacement. Right. So that is angular speed. Then we have got the angular acceleration. So angular is equal to d omega by dt. And the symbol for angular acceleration is, we will call it as theta. In some of the books, theta is shown here and they will use the symbol alpha for acceleration. That is also okay. See, symbol doesn't matter. The concept should be removed thoroughly so that whatever symbol you take, you still will be always getting the right result. Because your explanation should be correct. If it is a numerical problem, the problem also should be correct. That is why I did not use the word correct answer, result, so that it includes both theory as well as numericals. Okay. So the angular acceleration is theta equal to d omega by dt. And what will be the definition for this? This will be rate of change in omega. So that will be angular acceleration. Okay. Then another thing is that let us take the distance covered from A to B, which is in a curvilinear manner. But if this point B is very close to A, then you can see these 2 points. Doesn't it appear to be a straight line almost? Yes. So, because for very small angles covered, not alpha but d alpha. Or if it is theta, then not theta but d theta. So for that, the angle covered, it is an angle only, but it will appear to be a straight line. So we will take the arc up to point C, that is the arc AC, as equal to d alpha, then AC will appear to be a straight line. And for that there is an equation in geometry that angle is equal to arc. This is that arc by radius. Let us take that radius with the usual symbol small r. So then what we have got is, or the angle now that you have taken between A and C is d theta, and the arc is AC divided by r. So from this what we will get therefore is AC is equal to r into d theta. Okay. Now this is the angular displacement. Should be angle is d alpha here, sorry. So d alpha, and here also we will have d alpha. So what you will therefore have is that AC is almost a straight line, so it will be not angular but linear distance. S is equal to R into d alpha, that is angular displacement. So distance is equal to angular displacement. Even for longer distance you can still use this equation. Not d alpha, but it will be equal to alpha. Even for longer distance you can use it. Now, see furthermore what we will get. We will consider that this circle is with a constant angular speed, omega. Constant speed. Omega will never change. Omega, 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 here, omega, and everywhere. Then this type of circular motion is called uniform circular motion. Uniform. Uniform circular motion. As you can write that over here, omega is constant. Okay. So after this, if omega is constant, omega is the angular speed If that is constant, we know when velocity is constant, acceleration is 0. So when the speed is constant, in that angular direction, acceleration is 0. Acceleration 0, but still acceleration is there. We know that if any force is acting in the horizontal direction, the effect of this force at 90 degrees, say in the vertical direction, is 0. Because of this, force due to F is equal to 0. At 90 degrees, any vector will not have an effect. No vector will have an effect at right angles to itself. So like that, if the acceleration along the angular direction for angular motion is 0, but still acceleration is there. How? See, for any circular motion, at any point, the motion will be in the tangential direction. If you want to know a proof for it, I have said that in the class before once. You take a stone and you tie a string to the stone. Other end of the string, hold it in your hand and whirl it, swirl it, rotate it, revolve it. Whatever be the word you want to say, it's still having the same meaning. So, stone, string, and using your hand, hold it, now rotate it, as it keeps on rotating like this. Wherever you want, you free your hand. Wherever you want it, free your hand. Then what will happen? When the stone becomes free, it will start moving independently, and when it starts moving independently, it will always be moving in the tangential direction. So this is the tangential direction for the circular motion. If you are leaving the string somewhere at this point, rotate it, when the stone is here, leave it, the stone will go in the tangential direction, there. And if it is somewhere here, that you are leaving the string, you are leaving the string somewhere here, there in the tangential direction, the stone will start going up. So, for circular motion, always at any point, the direction of motion will be in the tangential direction at that point. So, you have to note this. Then, what happens is, after some time, let us say that the distance covered by the stone is AB, A to B, for which also let us say the angle covered is d theta. Then see one thing now. If this stone is let free here, then the motion will be along the tangential direction. Right. So then, I will repeat everything again for the sake of clarification. We are considering the motion at the start to be at the point A. Wherever you want, you can take it. For simplicity reasons, I am taking the point A, which is the highest point. At the highest point, the tangential direction will be horizontal. And in that direction, we will have the body to be moving when it is let free. So in that direction, it will have a velocity. We will take that velocity to be v. And then from point A, during the rotation, after some time, it will come to point B. This is point B. And from A to B, the angle covered is d theta. We are taking this point B to be very, very, very close to A. So the angle covered will be d theta. So now, at point B, see the direction, So at point B, for this curve, if you take the tangential direction, for this curve, if you take the tangential direction, then you will get the velocity v in the tangential direction at point B. Now if you join the tangent at B and also the tangent at A, they are meeting at point C. So there at point C, the angle will be again equal to d theta. I have given you a very good explanation for that before. See, vertical, horizontal. Here, see, this is the radial direction. Tangent is always 90 degrees to the radial. So the radial direction and vertical angle is d theta. And perpendicular to the radial direction and perpendicular to the vertical direction, you have got the horizontal direction. What is the meaning of that? That the first two lines itself, both of them are rotated by 90 degrees. So the angle between them will not change because both are turned by 90. So same d theta is what we will now have between the two angles at point C, between the angle for the two lines at point C. This is also therefore d theta. So now what we will do is that at point B, if we take the tangent, the velocity is v. If this is d theta, the same two directions only we have at point B also shown here. So this angle also is going to be d theta. So the component of this v in the horizontal direction will be v into cos of this angle. So it will be v cos d theta. Perpendicular to that, which is vertical, the velocity will be v sin d theta. Now because these 2 points are very, very close, hence we can take this vertical velocity or the velocity, vertical component of the velocity to be here itself at point A. Because this is very, very close. So I can as well say that v sin the d theta is at point A. Now before, at the start in this direction, no, we have not given any push or whatsoever. So before, the velocity, the vertical direction is 0. Now the vertical velocity here at point B, because AB well is very, very small, so I can take this vertical velocity to be at point A itself. So afterwards, for d theta, let us say that the time taken is dt. So time dt. So after time dt, here 0, time dt is over, then velocity is now v sin theta. So at A, this is point A, see it. So in time dt, comma, velocity at A changes from 0 to v sin d theta. So what we will now get is the change in velocity at A. Therefore, change in velocity at A is equal to v sin d theta minus 0 is equal to v sin d theta. All of you would have studied this point also in trigonometry, that for very small angles, sin d theta will also be equal to d theta itself. That is, for very small angles, sin alpha is also equal to alpha, like that sin d theta will also be equal to d theta. So from that, what we will get is that the change in velocity at point A will be equal to I'll do one thing, I'll write here first, for equal to v into d theta for very small angles. Right. So change in velocity at A, change in velocity delta VA will be equal to, see what we have got, v into d theta. Now, please note that the change in velocity you can see here is in the radius direction to the circle. So, Already we have studied that when the circle is with uniform motion, then angular velocity will be a constant. So there will be no velocity, there will be no acceleration in the tangential direction. But acceleration is there. How? In the tangential direction there is no acceleration means at 90 degrees acceleration is possible because the acceleration at 90 degrees will have no effect tangentially. So in the radial direction acceleration is possible, it is there. Because we are going to get a result where the radial acceleration is not zero. So radial acceleration is there, the acceleration perpendicular to the tangential direction, that is the acceleration in the radial direction is there. It will not be zero. We are going to see the proof for that. Okay. So then, so what we have got is that the change in velocity at A is equal to v d theta as per the last result that we have got earlier. So change in velocity by time. So, and this is what we will get in the radial direction. Therefore, acceleration in the radial direction is equal to the change in velocity divided by the rate of change in velocity will be equal to delta into VA. For a very, very small change in velocity, it will be delta VA equal to delta VA by dt. And that will be equal to V into d theta by dt, which is there. Write it down. So the acceleration in the radial direction will be equal to V into d theta by dt. What is that? Rate of change in displacement. D theta is the displacement. You can see here. D theta is the angle covered from A to B. So it is rate of change in displacement. Angular displacement. Rate of change in displacement is speed or velocity, and therefore here for angular displacement the rate of change in displacement will be angular speed omega. And what we have studied before is that linear displacement is equal to angular displacement into r. So from that you can also prove, therefore divide both sides by dt. So or ds by dt, differentiating both sides with respect to t. So you will get r is a constant into angular displacement. So that will be the angular displacement here is d theta divided by dt. So you will have linear displacement is equal to the angular displacement into the radius. Sorry again. ds by dt is velocity, so not linear displacement, you will get linear velocity. So the linear velocity will be equal to radius into the angular velocity. Linear means here it will be angular velocity omega. So like that, if we divide this by time, you will then get the acceleration. If it is non-uniform, you will get acceleration in the tangential direction itself. So the acceleration will be equal to r into the linear acceleration will be r into the angular acceleration. The symbol for angular acceleration that we have taken is theta. Okay. This is the symbol for angular acceleration. In the next concept, theta is the angle covered. So don't mix this and that. This is different, that is different. Or you can use different symbols here and there. Okay. So now what we are getting is that the radial acceleration is equal to v into omega. Coming back to this point, the radial acceleration will be v into, and what is omega? You can see from this equation, v by r into v by r. So the radial acceleration will be v into v, is v square by r. Acceleration is there. If you multiply by the mass, then there will be a force, that will be the force in the radial direction, and in the radial direction only you are having the center. Anywhere you draw the radius, it will come up to the center. So in the radial direction, from here, if you get a force, that force is directed towards the center. It is positioned towards the center. Positioned towards the center, center position. From that we have got a name, center position. From that the name is centripetal. So this force that is positioned toward the center is called the centripetal force. So from here, the force in the direction of the radius is called the centripetal force. Right. If you look only into the writings without the audio, you cannot understand the head or tail of it. So along with the video, that is both sound and the sight, if you combine both only, then when I write, I explain that both together, if you see it again, you will be able to understand everything. So that is why video is very, very important. Okay. So then, what is the centripetal force we have understood, and before proceeding further, let us look into all what we have seen till now. What is making a uniform circular motion? From A to B, the angle covered is alpha. And for that, if we take a differentially small distance covered, say AC, for that we will take the angle to be d alpha. Uniform circular motion means the speed which is there along the rotation, called the angular speed, that is a constant shown here. And angular displacement is alpha, this angle, and angular speed is rate of angular displacement or rate of change in angular displacement, so d alpha by t, written in the brackets. Angular acceleration will be rate of change of angular velocity, so rate of change in omega. And apart from that, what we have further studied is that the angle equal to arc by radius, so from that the angle covered d alpha is equal to AC by the radius r, is what is written. So AC is equal to r into d alpha, and so AC is linear, you can see A to C. For very, very small angle covered, then the arc will be appearing to be a straight line. So that is why write the value of AC in the form of a straight line, that is a linear displacement, so we will give the symbol as r, and d alpha is angular displacement. Okay. So alpha is the angle covered, that is called the angular displacement. Therefore, angular displacement for the differentially changing angle is also the angular displacement. Then another thing that I had told you was for uniform motion, when the angular speed is a constant, then in that direction when speed is the same, when velocity is constant, acceleration is 0, like that when speed is the same here, there will be no acceleration in the tangential direction. At any point, take the tangential direction, there will be no acceleration. But acceleration is there. If there is no acceleration, then motion itself is not possible. So note that. So we have to make note of that acceleration. Acceleration is not there, acceleration is also there. What is this? So to understand that, now let us take the other diagram shown here. You can see that we have taken a particle to describe circles. Then, well, you can take any point for clarification, and to begin with, I am considering a particle to be at the point A, which is the highest point of the circle. Any point you can take, otherwise you can still give all this explanation. So at point A, we have just now seen that the motion will be along the tangent. So, and the tangent, why we are taking the tangent? For that I have already mentioned, you take a string, tie one end of the string to a string, the other end you hold it. See, I am holding it. So, as you just rotate and suddenly you leave it, then the stone will be free and will also move in the tangential direction at that point where you left the string. So at any point the motion for the circular moment will be along the tangent. So at point A, we have seen the tangent. After some time, let us say due to rotation, the body comes to point B. So there if you leave this string, then the motion for free motion will be tangent at that point. So velocity is not going to change. So linear velocity at point A, if it is V, then tangential velocity at point B, that will be linear, that is also V. So now take a direction at point B parallel to the tangent at A. Then what happens is that this is perpendicular. This is also perpendicular. So two lines, angle between them is d theta, both of them if you rotate it by 90 degrees. Both turned by 90 degrees, angle between them will be the same, which is d theta only. So now parallel, same line. So if this is d theta, this is also d theta. Now coming to this angle, this velocity is v. So in the horizontal direction it is v cos theta. See the difference. At point A the velocity is v. In the same direction after some rotation, in the same direction velocity is v cos d theta. So v becomes v cos d theta in the same direction. So in a particular direction velocity is changing. That is why acceleration is there. Okay, so now coming back to the point. This v horizontally, the component is v cos theta, and perpendicular to this, you can see here. That is the component in the perpendicular direction. Here if it is d theta, on the other side, the side of d theta it is cos, on the other side it will be sine. So the velocity will be v sine theta d theta. In this direction, when the body is about to make a circle, then about to move, so the velocity at that time is 0, shown here. Then after covering some distance, for d theta, let us say time taken is dt. After time dt, we have seen in the same direction like this, the velocity is v sine d theta. But many will say, sir, v sine d theta is the velocity in the vertical direction at point B. How can you take it at point A? For that, we make a small assumption. For we have exaggerated here, but this is very, very small, differentially small. So that is why we have taken d theta, dt, dt, and so on. So when B is very, 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 very close to A, we can say it is as good as A itself. So at point A, before velocity is 0, at point A, afterwards velocity is v sine d theta. So the change in velocity from theta to v sine d theta will be v sine d theta minus 0. That is v sine d theta itself. For very small angles, sine alpha will be equal to alpha. Like that, v sine d theta will be equal to v into d theta. Please note the change in the radial direction. Pointed towards the center. Centrally pointed. So whatever result you get, we use the word centripetal for that, centrally pointed. Now all that I have already explained. And apart from that, what we are now having further, after this we have it here. So change in velocity is v sine theta, v sine d theta, it is also equal to v d theta, and this is in the radial direction, note that. So acceleration in the radial direction will be the change in velocity in the radial direction, which is v d theta by dt. Acceleration is rate of change in velocity, so for one time. So that will be change in velocity for very differentially small change will be equal to dVA. Delta is the symbol used for more value. So dVA. So now dVA is what? dVA, if you take it for differential small, is v d theta, with respect to time. So it will be v d theta by dt. d theta by dt is rate of change in displacement. So it is displacement by time, so it is an angle. So from here we will get velocity according to the definition, rate of change of displacement, which is angular. So from this we will get angular velocity. So all this is equal to v into omega. So from that what we get is, you see here, already explained that omega into r is equal to v. So omega will be equal to v by r. So put that value of omega as v by r, then in the next step you will get V square by R. So this is in the radial direction. So acceleration is there, I have told you already, but it is not tangential, it will be only in the radial direction. And when acceleration is there in the radial direction, anywhere, take the line up to the radius. Here, take it up to the radius. In that direction, force is there. This is the proof for all that. So, force in the radial direction will be mass into acceleration. So, m into v square by r. And because that force towards the center or centrally directed force, so it is known as the centripetal force. Okay. Now, after having got quite a good idea from all these explanations, let us put this concept into practical applications. Let us take a circle. Not a circle, take a road. And a four-wheeler is moving on that road. Like this. So on the road it is making a circle. Then centripetal acceleration will be developed. And what is the direction of the centripetal acceleration? We have seen just now. It is directed towards the center. So from here, centripetal acceleration, so a centripetal force will be directed towards the center. And so then the vehicle should move towards the center. Why it is not moving? That is the question. For that, let us take this view, see this view from this. When you see it from this direction, you can see the wheels of the vehicle. You can see the wheels. So, and the wheel is attached to the body of the vehicle. But between the wheel and the body, there will be springs, laminated springs and another kind of spring arrangement called the suspension system. So the suspension system is very flexible. That is why it will take to the shocks that is there absorbed on account of the ups and downs of the roads. So no shock will be transmitted to the people sitting in the vehicle. So the suspension system is like this in the form of a spring and so on. Other side, there will be totally 4 wheels minimum. So here also we will have a suspension system. Now, like this, when the vehicle is negotiating a curve, then the wheel will move towards the center like this. To every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So what happens is that this suspension system will be attached to the wheel by means of hook or something like that. So like that, there will be a hook on the other side, there that hook is attached to the body. So what happens is that when there is a hook attached to some metal part on the wheel, and the wheel is trying to move towards the center, then what will happen? Wheel is trying to move towards the center. What's this? What's the suspension system that I am showing? When the wheel is going towards the earth, therefore what will happen is that the wheel is going towards the earth. To every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is the point you have to catch. Wheel is going towards the center. There is a metal around the wheel, and that metal will have an attachment to the suspension system. When the wheel is going forward, metal attached to the wheel, that also will go forward. Because of that, what happens is that other metal which is attached to the body, that will produce a reaction. When it is producing a reaction, suspension system on the other side. So when a curve is negotiating, the suspension system will be somewhere, it will be having an angle like this. The wheel is moving one side, and the suspension system, to show the reaction, it will move a little bit that other side. Above that we are having the body. So other side of the suspension system, when it is moving a little bit that side, the body also will have a tendency to move other side. So that is why when you are sitting on one corner of the car and there is a curve that is being negotiated by the vehicle, you tend to move towards the window. That is what I have explained just now.